Hey, it's Barb. I'm here in February. It is wicked cold out, which is how we say it in Boston, and I'm not kidding. It's like -7 or something like that. So I'm hunkered down. I'm going to spend the weekend reading, and so that you can too, I've got three really good books for you. One is out now, and two are coming out. So hopefully you will have enough to read in February during the cold weather. All right, my first book is Daughters of Victory by Gabriella Saab. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because Donna and I are going to do a deep dive on it on Tuesday when we do our Step into the Story book discussion. I urge you to go out and buy it this weekend and read it so you can discuss book along with us. If you are a fan of Kate Quinn's Diamond Eye, you're going to love this book. It's back in Russia. It starts in the Russian Revolution. You have a woman named Svetlana who, at the opening of the book, is coming out of prison. She's an aristocrat that has turned revolutionary. She spent a decade in prison. She comes out to find out that the Bolsheviks are in power and that her party, which were called the Manisheviks, I think it was called the Mensheviks, excuse me, lost the battle. The Mensheviks, for those who don't know their Russian history, wanted to have a more populist kind of government that was of the people. The Bolsheviks were much more of an authoritarian, hardline regime. So that Lana recognizes that all they're doing is trading one bad regime for another, and she vows that she's going to fight it. And what she wants to do also is get revenge on this assassin named Orlova, who's killed her uncle, and rescue her estranged daughter because she dreams that they will live a better life under the Menshevik government. She wants to raise her daughter and have her family. Suddenly, you fast forward 20 years, and Svetlana's blind. The Bolsheviks are still in power. Her daughter hates her, and she has taken in her granddaughter, who wants to fight the resistance against the Nazis, and Svetlana is dead set against it. And you want to know why. Why does this former patriot suddenly not want to fight? Why is she not speaking to her daughter? Why is she blind? And to make matters worse, Orlova is still around and killing Nazis this time. So how did she fail in her mission and what's going on? And it's a really twisty, complex plot, which the last third of the book has you shocked. Every time you turn around, something's happening that you're not expecting. Gabriella Saab does not play by the rules in that sense. It's a very realistic portrayal of war, and she doesn't shy away from doing that. Characters aren't guaranteed to survive. Bad things happen. These women are very strong. They are willing to kill or be killed. It's a very gritty book. It's a very violent book, a very accurate book. I learned a lot about Russian history, and I was really impressed with how much research she did and how into the world I felt when I was reading this book. It's like she had a time machine and plunked me down in early 20th century Russia. So go out and buy this book. I really recommend it. I was a huge fan. My second book comes out on Tuesday. And again, I am a huge fan. For those of you who know me, I loved Yellow Wife. It was one of my favorite books of 2022 or 21. Sadeqa Johnson is brilliant. In this book, she brings us a story of two Black women, Evelyn, who is a freshman at Howard University, and Ruby, who is a teenager in North Philadelphia. And we go along with their stories as they both fall in love with men who are out of their reach. Evelyn falls in love with a very wealthy Black man from a very prominent DC family, and Ruby falls in love with a Jewish white boy. And eventually their stories are going to intersect, but you don't know how, and you're not sure why. And I can't explain it because I will spoil the book. I will tell you that Sadeqa Johnson is a master at characterization. These women, every woman in the book feels incredibly real. You're watching it through their eyes. And it's even she says in her notes, it's a story about what it's like to be a Black woman in the 1950s. It's especially a story about what it's like to be a pregnant Black woman in the 50s, or a single unwed mother in the 50s. and like, let's just say it sucks. You feel the racism through their eyes. It was very eye-opening for me because it was the racism and prejudice wasn't just white against black. It was colorism. It was black against black. It was classism. There's everything in this. I recommend it. It's very educational and it's a great read. I mean, like I said, she's a brilliant writer and you're missing out if you don't take a look at it. It's out on Tuesday, so I would go ahead and pre-order it. And then my last book, again, it's going to be a recommendation, is called Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This is totally not my style book. I picked it up because it said Writing Retreat. It was basically, it's a story of this young woman, Alex, who is invited to go to a writing retreat with her dream author, who's a famous horror author. And she's there with 4 other women. At the end of the month, they are going to have to produce a novel, a completely written novel, and one of them will win a publishing contract. It's kind of like NaNoWriMo meets Stephen King meets 8 Perfect Strangers meets Crazy Town. I mean, it's one of those books, I can't explain it because it's so different. Julia is a very brave writer, and she pretty much throws everything at the reader. There is gaslighting, there's homoeroticism, there's a demon, there's murder, there's kidnapping, there's psychological torment, there's physical torment. It sounds super crazy, but it works. I could not put this down. I devoured it in a weekend. It was fascinating to me. It was compelling. Alex is a very sympathetic character, but she's kind of an unreliable character in a lot of ways because she's being toyed with. And I can't explain it. It's crazy, but amazingly crazy, like crazy good. Julia is the sister of Andrea Bartz, who also writes thrillers. So that, that's where she picked some of this up. It's about toxic friendships. I can't explain it. It's my pick of the month. It comes out on February 26th, and I cannot recommend this book enough. It's not something I ever would have picked up if it hadn't been about writers. I'm glad I did. I think that even if you're not a historical reader fan, if you're just like thrillers, if you just like weird books that are strangely compelling and you really want something different, The Writing Retreat is what you're looking for. So those are my 3 books. Again, it's Daughters of Victory, which I hope you'll read this weekend and come talk with us on Tuesday. The House of Eve, which we'll be talking about. It's on Step in the Story in March, but again, it's on Tuesday. Please pick that up. And then The Writing Retreat will be out at the end of the month. I got all of these as advanced reads through Netgalley, so I say thank you to them in exchange for my honest reviews. I will leave all the links in my show notes, and please subscribe. We're almost there to becoming a real channel, so please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. And I will see you next month. Bye-bye.